In today's 23-24 single season rebuild, we're going to be taking a trip to France. We're going to be going over to France and taking the reins at Lyon. In the 22-23 season, they finished in a disappointing 7th and finished a massive 23 points behind PSG. In today's video, we're going to make it our mission to not only close the gap, but also give them a run for their money. Let's see what happens when we have one season at Lyon. To start us off, let's have a look at Lyon's current best 11 and the tactic at the start of the game. They like to set up in a narrow 4-3-3, which focuses most of their play through the middle of the park. Looking at some of the key players at the club, starting off with Dejan Lovren. He's 34 years old now, but he's definitely in the twilight of his career. Nicolas Tagliafico, at the age of 31, is a solid left back. His squad status is that of a star player, and he is one that we can definitely use in the save. Up next, we have Alexander Lacazette, 33 years old now, still though looks like a top striker in the game. He's on 90k a week, which is a lot of money, but hopefully the goals will make that not very important. And finally, we have Carl Toko Akambi. He's a versatile player who can cut in from either wing, he can play up front. His game is mainly built around his speed. Looking at the club's finances screen, we'll have about 8.6 million to start us off on the game. There is around 15,000 available in the wage budget, so we might have to free up more wages to make signings. The board are realistic, looking to play for second place behind PSG, but they want to be competitive in the French Cup. The main thing they want though is to sign young players to develop or to sell on for profit. With a clear picture of everything going on at the club and the finances that are available to us, let's jump to the summer transfer window and see who we bring in as reinforcements at Lyon. To start off the summer transfer window, we moved on Thiago Mendes to Leicester. Jeffinho left to go to Lorient. Chaim Al-Jabali was the next one to leave, and he joined Jeffinho at Lorient. The last player leaving the club is Habib Keita. He has been moved on to Le Havre AC. With those four players being moved on, we now have around £12.4 million available for us to go and spend. The first player that we sign is young Brazilian Arthur Sosa. He's from Corinthians. He has plenty of room for development alongside Lacazette and Toko Akambi. The next player through the door is another Brazilian. This is Calvin, a 23-year-old right-sided player who can play in a number of positions. Our next arrival is Elias Hagen, a 24-year-old Norwegian who is a central midfielder. He should be a good midfield option and most likely be a rotation player to begin with. And the final signing is one to improve the defence as we bring in Malang Sarr. The former Nice, Porto and Chelsea player should slot into our back four straight away. So with all of our summer transfer business done, we have around £4.9 million left for January and a small amount left in the wage budget. So with all of our summer transfer business now done and the window closed, it's time for us to jump into the first half of the season and show you how we get on in the run up to January the 1st. We kicked off our league campaign against Montpellier. We could only get a disappointing 1-1 draw. We made it 4 points drop from the first two games with a 2-2 draw against Reims. After those two draws, we finally get 3 points on the board with a win against Bordeaux. We managed to beat them 3-0. We then followed that up with a 6-0 demolition of Clermont. But just as it seems we're on a good run of form, we come up against PSG where we fall to a 2-1 defeat. Despite that loss, we do well to take 3 points from Nice in a 4-2 victory and a 3-1 win against Lorient. In our last game in December though, we would lose 4-3 to Nice in a thrilling game that sees us knocked out of the French Cup. This all means that on the 1st of January, we are sat in second place in the league. We're 4 points off PSG who lead the way. We have played 17 games, won 12, drew 3 and lost 2. On the Club Vision tab, we scored a C+. The board are mainly disappointed that we aren't signing players who are based in France, and they're upset that we didn't progress further in the French Cup. Heading into the winter transfer window, we have around 35 million in the bank to go out and reinforce the squad. Having a look to see how the new signings from the summer are getting on, starting with Malang Sarr, he has made a good impact, playing in 18 games, he scored 3 goals and also has an assist. Calvin has been playing well in the right back position, has played 15 times, scoring an average rating of 7.10 in the league. Elias Hagen has shown good signs of development, has been involved in a lot of first team action. He has played 17 times with 4 goals and 7 assists. And finally, Arthur Sosa has played in 15 games, scoring 8 goals and proving himself to be capable when called upon. So with the first half of the season now complete, let's have a look at what we can do in the January transfer window as we look to add reinforcements to our squad. First up in the winter transfer window, we moved on Oliver Mavawama to Nantes. Then we set about spending the money that was available to us. First up, we purchased German midfielder Tom Kraus. 23 years old, he can play in a variety of positions. He's a good passer of the ball and an intelligent player. The other signing in the window was Kang-in Lee. We snapped up the Korean wing wizard to hopefully score some goals whilst bamboozling defenders. So with that transfer business done, on the 31st of January we are sat second in the league, having played 20 games and amassing 48 points. That leaves us 4 behind PSG, but importantly 7 ahead of Monaco. With the January transfer window now shut and all of our business concluded, let's jump into the second half of the season and see how we get on in the run-in to the end of the season. We started off the second half of the season in good form. We had a great 2-0 win on the road in Lyon before a 4-1 win at home against Rennes. We then had a bit of a wobble though as we dropped points against Clermont in a disappointing 1-1 draw. In the very next game though, we would play our best football of the season as we come from behind to take apart PSG in a 4-1 victory. Despite that though, we're a bit inconsistent in the second half of the season. We drew with Nice, beat Lorient 4-1, lost 2-1 to Marseille and finished the season with 3 points against Montpellier. So after 34 tough games in Ligue 1, we have finished in second place. We collect a total of 83 points and have qualified for the Champions League. The board knew before the season that we were really playing for second place at best, but we do finish a lot closer to PSG than we probably would have expected. We end the season with a record of 34 games, 26 wins, 5 draws, 3 losses, with an impressive 61 goal difference and 83 points. Finished 5 points behind PSG, but 14 points clear of Monaco, who finished in third place. On the Club Vision tab, we get a B-, with the board being pleased with our management of the team and liking our Gegenpress style. A final look at some of our signings show that Malang Sarr played 32 games. He achieved a 7.05 average rating in the league. Calvin played some great football, developing as a player, featuring in 29 games and getting himself 6 assists. Elias Hagen developed his game, playing in 22 games and 9 more from the bench, scoring 5 assists and getting a 7.06 overall average rating. Arthur Sosa proved to be a great player for the future, showing good signs of development, played in 21 games, scoring 10 and assisting 5. Tom Kraus became a mainstay of the first team after his arrival in the winter transfer window. He played in 16 games, he scored 1 and assisted 4, got himself a 7.19 average league rating. And finally, Kang-in Lee hit the ground running, proving to be a superstar. He played 17 games, scoring 6 and assisting 8. He produced an average rating of 7.31 in the league and overall. So our single season at Lyon comes to an end. No trophies to show for it in this one, but the main aim was to get the gap to PSG closer, and we have firmly achieved that. So with the season now finished, our time at Lyon is coming to a close. Unfortunately, no trophies in this video, but when you're playing in a league against PSG, it's always likely to be difficult. I am proud though of the fact that we managed to get that points gap down to 5. When you consider in real life it was 23 points. To get it down to 5 points is a brilliant achievement. And I think if we were to continue the save, we would get even closer. And I think we even have a chance of surpassing them. Right then, if you're still with me at this point of the video, firstly a big thank you. Secondly, if you don't mind hitting that like and subscribe button to help the channel, I really would appreciate it. Watching the channel grow across the past couple of months has been fantastic. It's all down to people like yourself that come and interact with the channel, and I cannot thank you all enough. Before you go on to the next video, don't forget there is something for everybody on the channel. We have other Let's Plays, there are Wonder Kids, hints, tips, tutorials, a little bit of something for everybody here on the channel. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Big thank you for watching. I'll see you on another video very soon.